dummy account. So I think what I came up with was, and I didn't verify it, is it sounded like maybe he made a second profile for Chrome, and he didn't actually delete his original MetaMask.
Yep.
And so I mean, this is the only thing that made sense. So I think he got hit with the virus, and it stole both his, first account, because it still had the account set up with a MetaMask, and the new account, his dummy wallet, on the new Chrome account. That's the only thing that made any sense. Which sucks because.
Wait. Okay, so let me unravel this one more time. The account that he believed he had, what it sounds to me is that he did a migration and then failed to one of two things. One, he didn't delete and reinstall a fresh instance of MetaMask, creating a brand new 12-word seed, but instead either left that intact and out in the open, which negates completely the reason of that you would do a migration, and or created a separate profile, like you say, in a separate browser and entered in those same seeds again.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. He said he never entered in the seeds. So I think it sounded like he just made a second profile and set up a new dummy account on the second profile, but never actually cleared out the first profile. That's the only thing. The only thing that made any sense to me, because it was very confusing.
Or the obvious. Anytime you do a migration, you're already compromised. You have to consider it already compromised.
Yeah, but both. So the weird thing was both his dummy account and his old account that he migrated like last summer both got hit, and that's what made me lean towards he didn't clear out his old account properly, and it was still in a profile somewhere on his computer.
Or to that's absolutely possible, but you could have also had two completely unrelated attacks, two Mars stealers operating simultaneously or near simultaneously on both of those accounts, taking the seed store file and getting his password and then making off with them and then rinsing the accounts. Second question is, why would a dummy account have anything to steal on it? It shouldn't.
Yeah, I didn't get into that so much. I don't know if he was using that. I don't know. Yeah, he seemed smart enough to know maybe that he shouldn't be doing that, but I don't know.
A dummy account should never have any funds on it. Period. I see RB back in chat. It's been a long time since I've seen that name.
Hey, Papa, how are you doing?
Great, man. And I love you
Yes.
quoting Yoda as well in your profile.
Yeah, I've just been listening in. It's a bear market, so I'm sleeping in a cave while until it's over, I think.
Nice. A little bit of
Mhm.
getting into your eating your nuts and berries and putting on your nice layer of
Yeah.
fat and then sleeping through the winter. Nice. Hibernation is good.
Well, you've probably been through a couple of cycles, and this is the first one for me. So You know, I'm just, I think we're all sitting pretty, and it's just a matter of time, really. So, and then,
That's yeah.
you know, we, yeah,
This is my second full cycle.
wow,
Yeah,
mm,
well, I mean, second full cycle when I was actively participating. So for
mm,
you, I just have the following to assurance is that you're absolutely right. We are sitting pretty. Um, the
yeah,
bombs are flying. We're in our nice little dugout. Just relax. The barrage will
mm,
end, and the sun will shine, and everything will be just on exactly on target.
mm. And you know, this time around, Papa, is there a, you know how everyone often says this time it's different? Is there anything you're seeing apart from the macro? What is the this time it's different in this particular cycle? Do you think it's COVID and macro that is the difference? And it's not just an ordinary cycle.
The geopolitical issues, the
Yeah.
fact that the housing market is still super inflated, that's a sword of Damocles about to drop. And then you've got inflation like crazy, looking like we're all going to go into a global recession. This is not what happened last cycle. The good news
Yeah.
is nobody's saying crypto is probably going to die a death this cycle like they did last time. That's different.
Hmm. Yeah. And I was just in the process of getting one last. I was actually just going to do it now. That every last drop of any sort of crypto off centralized exchanges. I mean, I do think there's a bit of panic there. I think the big ones, and I'm touching wood while I'm saying it, are probably all right to have a little bit on, you know, if you're DCing or something. But it's just been quite shocking because, again, I wasn't there at the last one seeing failures. You know, you've got your Mashinsky and all of that stuff. Um, but it's kind of it's it's a huge lesson because I know Richard's, you know, been gloating about it, but he was sort of spot on, and as was everyone in this room. But whilst that was going on and it was being said, I still had some stuff on some centralized exchanges, and I thought I was being clever. I was like, oh, this time it's different. These are well capitalized firms that do AMAs, they're fully doxed, and it was just like the worst thing happened, and it's I think what I'm trying to say is this room was right all along. Richard was right all along. Um, and yeah, that was just a lesson for me that even what you think is what I thought was some of the best capitalized firms and institutional investors and all of these people, it's just no it, it's no measure of a firm's stability. It's unbelievable in a way what's happened with Celsius and some others. But is it unbelievable? Um, maybe it's not. Maybe it's not unbelievable.
It is surprising that it was just so easy for it all to topple. That's what I was a bit surprised at.
Yeah, yeah. Just think that that industry is effectively dead. The CFI lend sort of CFI bank type product is just pretty much dead in the water this cycle.
Yep.
Yeah. just while we're on about that, Papa, and I know this isn't the room, but in your particular view, that guy we just talked about with the Celsius, sorry for mentioning the names, but do you think he was incompetent, or will it be just as it all comes out? Do you think he was a fraudster from the beginning, or just incompetent and too slack, leading to potentially fraudulent activity, or do you just think he's an all-out scammer? Because why if you were a scammer, you wouldn't dox yourself every week and have your name and company records. That just doesn't seem to me that from I think maybe this is my view. He started out with some kind of idea, saw the money coming in, then got lazy with risk and governance, and then it all kind of fell to pieces, and it all was like a steam train, and you couldn't stop it at the end, maybe.
I would say, this is my own opinion. If it can be confirmed that large transactions occurred when they did, when they are claimed to have done, when things were looking really bleak, and further, if it can be confirmed that the gentleman was trying to flee the country, then I would say that things point to fraud. Whether or not it occurred to him to take the easy way out if he saw things steaming toward a dead end, or if it was all orchestrated from the beginning, doesn't matter. It looks like when the chips were down, he possibly packed his bags and started to say, oh, party's over, I'm out of here. And if that was true, then that says everything.
Mhm. And just moving on to things like HEX, and do you think, because I think what the regulators do in my country and in the USA is they're almost, this is an opinion. I think they're glad when a disaster strikes like this, because there's an element of "I told you so." They can then ram in awful regulation um, on the strength that people have lost money and people have been harmed. But then, what does it mean for things like which do you think the SEC will go after, like another big name like Cell, like they've done with XRP, rather than Hex? Because there's now talk of, well, everything's a security and it's all have to be registered and accredited investors and all of this stuff. Do you think they'll make an example of a centralized exchange and a token, rather than, because they don't have the time to go after every DeFi token like Hex, and it's harder to find. So what's your view on that in terms of regulatory risk on DeFi being a security?
Oh, I fully believe that you've hit the nail on the head. They don't have the ability. It'll take them years to understand exactly what Hex is doing, and by then it'll be 5 years old, and without any victims coming forward and saying, I've lost money in this fraudulent freaking masterpiece plan of a scam, they will not dig deeper. Rather, they will say, wow, there's a lot of people that seem to like this whole thing. We're now in a bull market and everybody's making a bunch of money over in Hex, and we're very happy for the tax revenues. Maybe we shouldn't touch this.
Mm-hmm.
And if we as a community have kind of a culture of paying the man to get off our back, and or using the letter of the law in whatever jurisdiction you're in to best protect yourself from overtaxation, then it's a very You know, it's a very good place to be.
Yeah.
I'm very much bullish on Hex weathering all sorts of storms from regulators, only profiting from regulations that come into the space because it is an immutable contract without a company attached.
Yeah, good point.